Welcome to the newest episode of Get Smart with Saurabh. My name is Saurabh. Today's episode, we're going to be looking into some of the trending videos when it comes to real estate and the ever-changing market of the Greater Toronto Area. Let's dig in, let's take a look, and enjoy the ride.
Welcome back for more on our top line story and for his take on defensive stocks in volatile markets. We're joined by Kash Pashutin. He's Chief Executive Officer of First Avenue Investment Council. Great to have you here, Kash.
All right, Kash.
Welcome back after a long time.
It's good to be back. 2019, we had about 280,000 immigrants come to Canada. Over 19 and 20 with the pandemic, and even 21. There was a real bottleneck with borders closed. So the government's told us, as many know, that over the next 5 years, we expect that number to be in excess of 400,000. Why this matters is when we had 280,000, we could not build homes fast enough. We were short about 30,000 homes. So the supply and demand fundamentals are going to be very challenged. I would say that we will be in a housing crisis.
Actually, we are in a housing crisis. Even though we had excess of 200K immigrants coming to Canada, we need to house those people. People need places to live. People need roofs over their heads. And I think by 2025, we're going to have at least 500,000 immigrants coming in. But where are they going to go? Where are they going to stay? We have a crunch as is at this time, at this very moment. So it's the supply and demand is already messed up because people are willing to buy, people are wanting to buy, but there are no houses. The crunch is so bad. And another factor to very heavily consider, the trades skilled people, over 100,000 of them are going to be retiring by 2029. If they retire, who's going to be building these houses, these condos? We're going to have very limited amount of skilled trade people to actually build infrastructure when it comes to housing.
I use the word crisis because demand exceeds supply so significantly. So that really is the very general crux of our investment thesis.
So what type of entity are you investing in to gain exposure to the Ontario residential real estate market?
For us, it's high-rise condominiums because they're easier to rent than a home. So they're multi-purpose. Buyers, investors can buy them and live in them, or they can buy them and rent them. And
very true, because high-rise condos, you can buy in a AAA location, something like downtown Liberty Village. The variety of people wanting and willing to rent is far more attractive than something in the suburbs, something in Mississauga or Oakville. You're not paying $1 million or $2 million to be in a much better, much more convenient area. For example, transit-oriented places, Kipling Station, for example, or Union Station, condos close to those areas. They're not the same price as a detached home in the suburbs.
Our real estate arm actually takes it A to Z, from acquiring the land all the way through the construction. And that way we control the process. Our clients like that, we like that. We're not allocators of capital, we're hands-on actually doing it. We have a lot of skin in the game. And so people need a place to live. And when you think about real estate, it's also a big universe. So you have to be very specific about which part of the industry you're in, because office compared to residential has a different set of skills, risks, and opportunities than residential does. But for us, the catalyst and really just the very general investment thesis is immigration continues to fuel this housing crisis. And we can have, and it's been great to see the Doug Ford team come out with some provisions to help loosen up. But one of the challenges is certainly the approval process and cost. But the other challenge is just shortage of trades. And I think that's going to be one of the hardest challenges.
That is what I got into a little bit earlier, shortage of trades. And that's a huge factor. People may not be looking into this very seriously or may not be aware of the problem, but there are a lot of developments that may be getting canceled just because they can't find the skilled trades to construct their projects. It's definitely a problem. It's definitely fueling, as Kash says, fueling the housing crisis.
Just to fix is that you can have more developers wanting to bring projects. And even if the approvals are happening, the fact is we don't have enough skilled tradespeople to do that. And every developer is drawing from the same pool. So we believe the shortage of supply relative to demand is going to continue, which is makes it compelling from an investment thesis.
Well, almost out of time. Is this an attractive time to establish those type of investments with home prices now under some pressure because of rising mortgage rates?
Certainly there's risks, and it's hard to make a general statement. I would say for us, what we do specifically is in the condominium space. So in the pre-construction, you're buying a condo today for it to be built 4 years from now. So the investment decision you're making is not based on where interest rates are today, it's 4 years out.
Anything you do in life is going to have some risks, irrespective of whatever you do. When you're buying real estate, when you're doing investments in real estate, high-rise in condominiums, you want to make sure you're getting something from a AAA builder in a AAA location. You're working with the right real estate agent who knows what they're doing. There are always risks involved. It's not a small chunk of change that you're spending. It's upwards of $500,000 that you're investing. You want to make sure you are siding with the developers that have some experience in this. They know what they're doing. So obviously Emblem is one of them. There are numerous other ones. But what I'm trying to say is you want to make sure you're in it with the right people.
And so that buyer is not affected by interest rates today. But like any time, whether things are good or not going so well, you have to think long term and you have to understand what the risks are.
So next video that we're going to watch is of Barry Fenton, who is the president and CEO of Lentera Developments. Very close friend and partner of ours. We do a lot of projects with Lentera. In fact, I don't want to toot my own horn, but we are one of two agents that are in the $200 million club. We recently just got that award from Lentera. But in this video, we're going to watch him, and we're going to see him talk about the housing correction that has taken place, or has it taken place?
For more on all of this, Barry Fenton is joining us. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Lentera Development.
Let's go, Barry.
Good to see you and catch up. Thank you for coming in. I know you're busy, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. But
when is he never busy?
Been the change maybe in the marketplace on the back of this shifting of the central bankers? It's been major across the world.
Yeah, I think that there's some concern about the market in general, and I don't think it's a real estate concern. I think it's just the economic conditions worldwide. But it's interesting. Every day I look at a lot more of comments coming from the central bankers, and they seem to feel that rates, they need to decrease. They're just concerned in general. But again, I think what happens is that the real estate component gets thrown in to the whole package,
right?
Unfortunately.
Okay, well then let's piece it out first, which is, but when you see that interest rates could be lower for longer, what does that cause you to do in terms of strategizing in real estate in Canada?
I think that's very bullish for home buyers. Some people look at that as a fact of being quantitative easing, and the fact that people are concerned about a recession coming. But we have weathered recessions before. We have weathered recessions at a higher interest rate component. So I think it's actually really bullish for the market, and it gives people an ability now to go purchase long term, because they are now offering 5, 7, 10-year mortgage rates at like 3%, 3.5%. So it gives you a chance to really get in and do things. And not only from a residential standpoint, but from an office component or commercial component. For example, I'm just refinancing a project now downtown, office hotel component project. And I think the total rate in will be 3.6% for 10 years. So it makes the numbers really make a lot of sense.
What was it like then, though, before we started to hear this change in tone from the Bank of Canada, the U.S. Federal Reserve, in the sense that, did you see or sense any kind of tightening in the market?
You know something, I think there's a lot of noise out there, and I'm sorry to say that.
That's why I'm asking you, because you know.
There's a lot of Debbie Downers out there, but I actually really believe that the market has stayed consistent. I think that...
I'll say this. Barry calls them Debbie Downers. I call them negative Nancys. So a lot of negativity out there. A lot of people are like, oh, the market's crashing. It's, I'm going to invest when the market's going to start picking up. They don't even know if it's going to crash. It's not going to crash. It cannot crash. recession is very different than a depression. People are always like, oh, let it go down a little bit more. Let the market crash more. Let the market go down a little more. How do you time it? Nobody can time it. Not the developers, not agents. Nobody can time when it goes down, what the real bottom is. Nobody can time that. So all these negative Nancy's, when they say, I'm going to start investing when it goes down a little bit more, let it go cheaper more. I remember when I first started over 10 years back, people were like, oh, you know what? Who's going to buy condominiums? They're like $300K, $400K, so expensive for a shoebox in the sky. Those people don't even exist anymore because they're out of the market. They have phased themselves out of the market because they can't even afford these condos anymore because they kept waiting. If you keep on waiting, the market's gonna get out of reach for you. So good things in life are not, they don't come easy. You have to take an action. You have to invest in something and just go with it. Because if you keep on waiting, you're gonna be one of those people who are like, oh, I wish I bought that property 10 years back, 15 years back, 5 years back. Had I, bought that condo a couple of years back when it first launched, I could have retired a little earlier because people have made crazy returns in a lot of these investments, a lot of these high rises, and a lot of the real estate investments in general. So, for all you negative Nancy's out there, take action. Think about these kind of things seriously, logically. Don't wait out because you're just gonna skip the boat.
That when there's noise, that's actually a good sign. For me, that is anyways. And, for example, if you look at the stock market and compare it to the real estate market, when the market was at 2,300 Dow, S&P 500, people said, oh, we know everyone's going to go to a depression and we're done. Mm-hmm. And the market bounced back. So if there's something that has substance, mm-hmm. then it should do better, and it will do better.
I don't know if you saw the promo prior to you coming on, but I'm interviewing Steve Eisman tomorrow.
Yeah, boo-hoo.
From The Big Short. Made billions of dollars shorting the U.S. market, and he's coming up here. I think he's negative. Well, it'll be a remote interview, but he's negative on the Canadian banks. And we'll see what he has to say tomorrow, but he obviously thinks that there's a bit of a bubble here in the Canadian housing market.
I think he's been saying that for a while,
mm-hmm.
and I think he's been basically really negative about the Canadian market. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
I'm the big long because I actually think that the market now, potentially, I think we've actually gone through our correction in the real estate market here in the last 9 months.
And we see that right now because all these resale houses that are, there's no supply. Plain and simple. Everybody knows that there is no supply. If one or two houses come up for sale, there are at least 10, 15 people willing to put in an offer. I just had a house that we put an offer on, 26 offers in Burlington, of all places, with all due respect. But 26 offers on a detached home. And that tells you something. That tells you the amount of demand there is for housing market at this time. And like I said, the supply is low, demand is high. There is no reason why the housing market is going to crash. Supply is not outpacing the demand. Demand is far more than the supply. And we have 500,000 immigrants coming by 2025. Where are they going to go? They need a place to stay. They need houses, they need townhomes, they need condos. In general, they need a roof over their head. If they're not going to buy, they're going to rent. So why is it not the best time to invest? Invest now, a couple of years down the road when you get that condo of yours, you have enough prospects who are ready to rent it out from you.
8% increase in downtown condos, for example. In the residential low-rise, we've actually had about a 15% correction, a real correction. So condos have gone up about 8%. The low-rise housing has gone down about 15 to 20%. Mm-hmm. So I think that...
we've already gone through it.
We've gone through it. I think we've seen nothing from an upside yet.
Barry, what do you attribute that weakness to then?
The problem that I saw during COVID, when the market was red hot, the supply chain, so the supply demand issues were still there at that time. So same thing as right now. 2 houses come up for sale, 15, 20, 25 people are willing to buy, and obviously basic economics, supply demand, the prices are going to go up if there's only one product and X amount of people ready to buy that product. So that being said, developers who construct these low-rise homes, townhouses, semis, detached, they were, that's just the market condition. If I have a house that I want to construct and sell, if I'm getting a high dollar, if I can charge a high dollar, why not? So people who did not want to wait or who did not want to get into that multiple offer situation very easily had access to all these developers all around the GTA and elsewhere. They could go in, select the house, and put a deposit in and just wait for it to get constructed. The only catch what there was the builder was charging more money-wise. The cost of that particular house was much higher than the normal resale market. And people chose to do that.
Talk to us a little bit more then about the condo market and where the demand is coming from. Who's buying and who's interested to buy?
It's interesting. I've seen in the last 6 months more from an immigration standpoint. I think we're at something like 300,000 people now coming in to Canada.
When they, immigration is the way it is, we have 250,000 or so immigrants that came this year or last year. By 2025, the expected rate is 20 or 500,000 immigrants. I'm going to touch upon that again. These are the people who are the new Canadians that are coming in. They need a roof over their head. Where are they going to go? Houses are priced out. Condos is the way to go. And this is what is being mentioned here.
Let's bring it back home to Canada. When we've seen recessions, housing recessions in Canada, and you did say that we've already gone through a correction, which is really interesting. Maybe
an increase of a correction, actually.
A what?
An increase.
An increase. So what would make you nervous, though, going forward as you look at the Canadian housing market?
The only time I've been nervous in 60-plus years is when, in 2008, when all of the banks in Canada shut down the liquidity. So they basically said, we just can't put money out. So that's what would make me nervous. I'm not worried about if interest rates go up 0.25% or down 0.25%. I think that the high-rise condo business in Ontario has so much platform and so much base that we're good. We really are good in the market.
So the beauty about buying a new construction condo is you can get an excellent location, and you're giving the 15 to 20% over the years. And obviously that depends on builder to builder and project to project, how that deposit structure is constructed. But the beauty about new construction, investing in new construction condos is you're not applying for that mortgage today. You're not closing that property today. You are getting occupancy possession of that unit of yours down the road. I've seen, personally speaking, my own clients, myself, have a return of at least, even today we got a text, it's like, hey, listen, 2.5%, 2.5 times it's increased in value, my investment. So thank you guys. So, that's the kind of return we've seen on a very lower scale that people have seen who bought new condos years back. Right now is the best time to buy because, this could be your bottom that you've been looking for, because when you are when the market's going hot, when the market's very hot, everybody's happy, the developer's happy, you're happy, but the problem at that time, it becomes that you're buying at a very high price. When the market's low comparatively as it is right now, builders are giving incentives right, left, and center, up to $100K in some in projects. You're getting incentives up to $100,000 and rental guarantees and locked in mortgage rates even. So people are gonna always complain about, the market's out of their reach. The property prices are very high, or it's gonna crash. But at the end of the day, real estate, it always makes you money as long as you invest with the right people.
All right, Barry, we'll leave it there. Great to see you.
Thank
you. That's Barry Fenton, Chief Executive Officer of
That was the end
Ontario
of the video.
Development.
What do you know? So on April 12th, Bank of Canada made the interest rate announcement, and the overnight rate was held at 4.5%. And this video explains what the owner should know about the second rate being paused.
Earl Davis, do you believe the Bank of Canada has finished raising rates, or do you take them at their word that more rate hikes are possible? How likely do you think it is that this is it?
You know what? I'm as data dependent as as the bank is right now. But based off of history, 1970s and 80s, you would say this is a secular trend. This inflation is not a 2022, 2023 story. It's the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So you want to make.
I agree with Earl. I think that if they are leaning one way or the other, it's to raising rates rather than lowering them. Nobody wants to be Paul Volcker, the legendary Fed chief that brought rates into the upper teens.
So here's the point. The goal is to bring inflation down. How are we going to bring the inflation down? If the aim is to bring the inflation down, we have to make sure the interest rates reflect that, because we're not going to get 1.25 or 2% interest rates again for a very long time, if that. So in order to bring the inflation down to 3%, 4%, interest rates have to go up. As much as I would love for them to stay and go lower, the problem is we got used to the lower rates. And we I guess we kind of expected them to stay forever, which was never going to be the case anyways. When the next announcement is made in June, I will not be surprised if the rates do go up. The point is, like I said before, inflation needs to go down. For that to go down, the rates would need to go up. I would be very surprised if the rates stayed at 4.5. Like I said, I don't think they're gonna pause it again in June. If they do, that's perfect. But realistically, for the long run, I think they need to increase it. I will not be surprised if they do increase it. We're back at it again with part 2 of the video series for Get Smart with Saurabh. Today, I'm going to be answering some very common questions that I get from my clients about the market condition right now, where we stand in the Greater Toronto area, how's the real estate market. So let's begin with question number 1. Oh, most definitely. We're definitely past the recession. I wouldn't even call it a recession. It was a little hiccup, I guess. We saw the market soar by at least 21%. And as we stand today, there's such a supply crunch that in resale markets, like me and my agents, we are noticing, obviously, and this does not come as a surprise, we're noticing 22 offers, 26 offers on a house, 18 offers on resale like homes. And that clearly tells us that there's a very overwhelming demand. However, the problem is the supply. There is no supply out there. There is not enough houses for the amount of buyers out there. So what we're looking at is, we're noticing a price increase because of basics in Basic Economics 101, supply demand. There's a lot of demand, not enough supply, which is driving the prices up again. So clearly that is not an indication of any recession or a weak market. So yes, to answer the question short, or give you a short answer, yes, we're definitely past the recession. The best time to invest is when it's the scariest. When all things are very good, everything is very comfortable, that's not the best time to buy. Look at the market right now. The builders are offering such huge incentives. They're offering X amount of dollars on the table for you on a project that I'm selling currently and is doing exceptionally well. When the market's slow, when you don't feel comfortable, when you feel scared about the situation, that is probably the best time to buy and invest, because builders want to sell as well. They're offering you, in a down market, they're offering you exceptional incentives. Take advantage of those incentives. Oh, most definitely. If the things keep on going the way they are going, prices will most definitely keep going up. One of the biggest things we've noticed so far is there's a huge, and it does not come as a surprise, it's been mentioned in various media outlets, there's a huge shortage of homes. And we're noticing multiple offers where prices are going above asking price. We're noticing 25 offers, 22 offers on a house, 18 offers on a house. So yes, if the supply and demand is the way it is right now, the price will definitely keep on going up. Be decisive. There's a lot of options out there. A lot of great developers are offering fantastic incentives at this time because of the way the market is. And make sure you take advantage of that. Be decisive. Don't be, everybody's looking for deal of the century, but you want to make sure you take advantage of what's being offered at this time, because even in this market, we've seen some projects sell out very quickly, and the response has been absolutely fantastic. Even in a slow market, great projects don't last, and we've seen that time and time again. So be decisive. Don't be too picky, and make a decision. Make your life easier. Have fun with it. Another thing I keep noticing is, when people want to buy into or get into a new construction, they want to buy something that's not necessarily affordable for them. Oh, I don't want to buy a studio. I don't want to buy a 1-bedroom. I want to buy a 2-bedroom. I want to buy a 1-bedroom plus that. There is no wrong and right answer. When I bought my first condo, it was a studio because that's all I could afford. And that's treated me really well. What I would suggest to you is start small. You're not here to impress anybody else. Start small, work with the budget that you have in mind or you are approved for, and look at options available to you for that price point and go from there. But do work with a professional who knows what they're doing. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit the subscribe button below and hit that bell.